Good morning, Mr. DePaz.
Good morning.
So you're charged with causing bodily injury. You're facing up to a year in jail and or a $4,000 fine. We're going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you. You have the right to have an attorney present. If you cannot afford one, one will be appointed to you, sir.
Yes, sir.
Oh, thank you. Okay.
On March 10th, 2025, at approximately 12:18 p.m., a school resource officer responded to a security officer needing assistance in LaPorte High School. Upon arrival, the defendant was placed in the security resources office after a physical altercation. The defendant stated he was upset with the complainant because the complainant had mistreated his sister in the past. The defendant confronted the complainant and struck the complainant with a closed fist on his face. The defendant was observed on school CCTV walking up to the complainant and punching him with a closed fist, and shortly after, the complainant fell to the ground. The complainant did not show signs of confrontation towards the defendant. The complainant was observed with multiple lacerations on his lower lip and a missing tooth from being struck in the face. The complainant was also observed with a swollen jaw and bleeding from his mouth, and the complainant felt pain. I have spoken to the family of the complainant. He's had to have his jaw wired shut. His jaw was broken on both sides of his face.
Serious bodily injury?
I don't believe that would rise the level of serious bodily injury because it's not permanent disfigurement, because he will heal eventually, but it will take 6 to 9 weeks for heal.
Mr. Topaz, I'm going to find that there's probable cause to go forward with the case. I'm ordering you now as a condition of your bond not to consume alcohol, illegal, unprescribed controlled medication. I'm going to randomly test you. If I find that you're smoking, if I find that you're using alcohol, I will put you in jail and you will get your degree with me. Do you understand? You are now not to go back to LaPorte High School. I'm ordering you not to go back. I don't want this person to live in fear, so you're not to go back there. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
If I find that you become a danger to my community, I only have one place for you.
Yes, sir.
You're not to be in possession of weapons as well. You were what, 17?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I will provide you a lawyer today. I'm sending you for a test. I want to know what, if anything, is going to be in your system. You're to take a test and you're to come back, and then I'll have to speak to a lawyer.
Yes, sir.
If you don't go take the test, if you don't come back, I will issue a warrant for your arrest.
Yes, sir.
If I meet your problem, you got out of jail because we gave you a free bond. You're not going to get another one if you're a danger to my community.
Yes,
You
sir.
understand?
I will not cause any more.
Okay,
And Judge, did you say no contact with the complaining witness?
Correct.
Okay.
but don't worry, don't file anything because I'm going to have him supervised.
Okay.
All right, so just reach out to the MAC form, please, and then I'm going to send him for a test right now.
Okay. All right, go ahead and sign. Next judge is page 15, Ibarra. Come on up.
That's awful. That's
Right.
Did you see, what page?
Ibarra is on page 15.
Got it. Good morning, Mr. Ibarra.
Good morning, sir.
So you're charged with unlawful carrying of a weapon. You're facing up to a year in jail and or a $4,000 fine. We're going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You have the right to have an attorney present. If you cannot afford one, one will be appointed to you, sir.
Judge, this is a under 21 UCW. I can still read you the facts if you would like. Okay. On March 3rd, 2025, an officer was dispatched to a shooting. The officer found the defendant in a back alleyway with a gunshot wound to his leg. The defendant had a mesh backpack in his possession at the time and was able to see that there was a black handgun inside. The caliber of the handgun matched shell casings located on the ground next to the defendant. The defendant stated that he shot the gun in self-defense at 3 black males who shot at him. Those suspects fled the scene after officers' arrival. The defendant was transported to Ben Taub Hospital, where the defendant was being treated for the gunshot wound to his left femur. The defendant admitted to being in the 114th Street Bounty Hunters gang and is 18 years old.
Okay, so was it really that, did he shoot himself, or do we know that someone else shot?
We do not know. We
So-
know that the casings on scene match the caliber of the handgun that he had, but we don't know if he had shot himself and he stated he was being shot at by other people as well. So it's unclear.
So the only allegation is that he's underage. essentially. Okay. Mr. Ibarra, I'm going to find that there's no probable cause to go forward in your case. You need to be very careful. You get but one life. God forbid something happens where you have a gun and you use it, and then you end up getting charged with something. You've gotten shot in the leg now. I mean, luckily it's not somewhere else. It could be life ending. When you hang with dogs or when you're bad places in the middle of the night, really, do something with your life. Get into school, graduate, get some knowledge. Take a seat with me, please.
Judge, for Mr. DePaz, it was no contract.
Yeah, no contact, no weapons, no alcohol, and then random UAs.
Yes, Judge.
Oh,
Back to.
Rand, you ready? Yeah. I have your chance. I'm sorry.
And it was also no going back to LaPorte.
Right.
Right, Judge.
I do.
23.
Lenny, I always need you.
Reyes.
Rand. How are you? Great, how are you? Judge looks very festive today.
So this is an FSGI, am I right?
Yes, sir. Hola, yo te voy a interpretar, ¿ok?
Good morning, Ms. Reyes.
Días, señora Reyes.
Good morning.
Ms. Reyes, you're charged with failure to stop and give information. Essentially, leaving the scene of an accident without exchanging information.
Escena de un accidente sin intercambiar la información que necesitabas hacer.
You are facing up to 180 days in jail
180 días en la cárcel por
and or a $2,000
una
fine.
multa que no sobrepase $2,000.
We are going to do probable cause.
Soldados
You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you.
contra usted.
I insist she stays silent.
Y tu abogado insiste que se quede callada.
Just please go slow.
Yes, Your Honor. On March
El
10th,
10 de marzo
2025,
del 2025,
officers were
los
dispatched to
oficiales
Safer
fueron
Street
a
and
una calle Safer
Princess Street in reference to
Princess
an
Street.
FSGI.
bajo una referencia de faltar y dar información.
The officers were
Los
advised that a white Charger left the
oficiales
scene
dijeron que
following
un
an
White Charger
accident
se fue de la escena después de un accidente
and was last seen
y
going
lo
southbound
vieron
on Shaver
y iba
Street.
en camino al sur en la calle Shaver.
The complainant stated that she
quejante
was
dijo
traveling when a
que ella
white
estaba
Dodger
manejando
made a
cuando un
unsafe lane
Dodger
change
Cambió de carril, pero sin
and collided with her.
y chocó contra ella.
The complainant
El
showed
quejante
officer
dijo,
a picture of the
Él
suspect
tomó
vehicle,
una foto del vehículo, le enseñó al oficial
showed the license
y
plate
tenía la
and
placa
damage to the vehicle on
y
the
el
back
daño al
left
vehículo.
portion. The complainant
El
estimated that the
quejante
damage was
dijo que
around
él
$1,000.
está estimando que costó como $1,000 en reparación.
The officers ran the
Y los
vehicle and
oficiales
found the registered
vieron la
owner to
placa
be
y
Juan Maneno.
encontraron que el dueño era Juan Veneno.
The officer located the vehicle at the apartment complex
Encontraron
that the
el
vehicle was
vehículo
registered
en
to.
los apartamentos a donde estaba registrado.
The officer met with
Y
Juan
el
and his
oficial
wife, who
habló
is the
con Juan y
defendant.
la esposa, que es el acusado.
Juan advised the officers that the
Y Juan
defendant
le
had been
dijo
driving the
que el
vehicle all
acusado
day,
estaba manejando todo el día el vehículo
and that the only damage to the
que
vehicle should have been on the
daño
front bumper from a
que tenía
previous
el
incident
vehículo
and
era en
nothing
la
else.
parte de frente de un accidente previo.
The defendant
Y
advised
el
officers
acusado
that she was
le
driving the
dijo,
vehicle and had
ella estaba
recently
manejando
gotten back from a Walmart,
el vehículo y había regresado
which is
de
around
Walmart
700
como
feet from where the
700
incident occurred.
pies de a donde ocurrió el
She denied hitting
incidente
anybody.
y ella negó pegarle a cualquier persona. Negó que
Your Honor, so based on the
y
information,
basándonos en la
the
información dice
car was registered to his wife.
So, how do we know who's driving
And the
it?
complaint,
y
the
cómo sabe quién
Juan
estaba
stated that he
manejando.
was the one driving and she admitted to being in that location at the time.
She denied hitting, right? Do we have any kind of evidence that puts her at the scene that she's the one that causes the accident?
Que ella estaba ahí y causó el accidente. Go ahead.
That she was the one within 700 feet of the accident and that she
Que
had
estaba
access to the vehicle, Your Honor.
Tenía acceso al vehículo y estaba a 700
And this
pies
vehicle was the one that was in the
del lugar.
accident.
Y ese fue el vehículo que estaba en el accidente.
Did you say that the husband said that she was driving it.
She was driving it
El
all day.
esposo dijo que estaba manejando.
Statement.
Dice que sí.
Do you want to add anything? Did you want to say anything?
No, two
Yeah,
things, Judge. Number one, there was no evidence that
No hay
she was,
evidencia.
as you mentioned, there was no evidence that she was
ella
driving the
estaba
vehicle. And just because she had the vehicle all day does
Solo
not mean she
dice
was
porque
driving
tenía el
it.
vehículo ese día.
For example,
No
when I'm sure my
significa
daughter's
que estaba
home,
manejando.
I'm sure,
Porque con
and she's using one of our vehicles, I'm sure that
Mi hija
her lunkhead
estaba usando,
boyfriend is probably driving it the majority of the
vehículo
time.
puede ser que
Additionally,
no,
this
el novio de
vehicle
mi hija
is
estaba
insured.
manejando. Ahora el vehículo
There's
está-
never been
tiene
any
su-
report
está
of
asegurado.
anyone, but
Ningún
people had
report.
consent to driving it. That defense is not going to be erased, so this is an
Yes, sir.
insured incident.
Es un incidente
You got A, you got C, but you don't have B. I mean, I just don't think that,
A ver,
officer could have gone to Walmart, pull video, see her coming out, other
pueden ir a Walmart a ver si
cameras anywhere else. I don't know, but I just,
no hay
I
prueba
don't think there's enough.
Okay. Sure.
All right, I'm gonna find no probable cause in your case,
para
man.
encontrar que hay motivos fundados para mantener, pero
Please be careful when you're driving.
ten cuidado con
If you're going to drive, do not drive unless you have a valid license
No maneje.
and liability insurance in your name.
y seguro.
Do you understand?
¿Entendido?
Okay, all right.
And she does for the court's edification.
Thanks, Jeremy.
Always great seeing you, and I apologize on the record for calling in my future son-in-law is a lunkhead, in case that goes anywhere. I forgot it's being videoed. All right, take care.
The pause.
I keep forgetting.
Go ahead.
All right, Judge, the next one is case 15, Jacobs. Come on up.
I'll wait till I did, and now, but they don't follow.
Hey,
It has. I don't play down here anymore.
I don't blame you.
They play me in the felony court, so.
Yes, sir.
So you were retained on this case, correct? Have you filed an attorney of record yet?
Yeah, I did that this morning.
Are you, Ms. Jacobs?
Yes, sir.
Ma'am, you're charged with failure to comply, I guess striking an unattended vehicle. You're facing up to 6 months in jail and or a $2,000 fine. We are going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you. You have the right to have an attorney present. If you cannot afford one, one will be appointed to you. Okay.
On February 27, 2025, an officer responded to an FSGI call in the HEB parking lot in Houston, Harris County, Texas. The complainant reported that while shopping, her vehicle was backed into by an unknown individual who did not stop. When she returned to her vehicle, a note was left with a license plate number, a witness's phone number, and a statement about the incident. The witness confirmed seeing a vehicle back into the complainant's vehicle and drive off. The witness gave a description of the defendant and her vehicle. On March 4th, 2025, an officer met with the loss prevention manager at HEB and was shown surveillance video from the parking lot, which showed the defendant driving over a curb and parking her vehicle. The defendant did shopping in the store and got back in her vehicle. The defendant began to reverse into the complainant's vehicle. The defendant paused briefly before driving off and exiting the parking lot. Surveillance video clearly showed the defendant as well as the defendant's vehicle's license plate. The officer confirmed the license plate was registered to the vehicle and the registered owner was the defendant. The officer compared the driver's license photo with the surveillance images and positively identified the defendant. The officer called the defendant and the defendant acknowledged he rubbed another car with her bumper. The complainant provided photographs of the damage to her car along with an estimate that the total cost of repair would be $3,009.23.
Okay. Ms. Jacobs, I'm going to find that there's sufficient probable cause to go forward with the case. Can you run her license, please? See if she has a valid license.
Yes, Judge.
I'm ordering you not to drive any vehicle unless you have a valid Texas driver license and liability insurance in your name. That's the only condition I'm putting on you at this time. Do not pick up any new cases. If you do, I will revoke your bond, put you in jail. No more PR bonds. Do you understand, man?
Driver's license is all.
Okay, so we're just going to craft bond conditions for you not to drive without insurance as well. We'll have you sign it, and after that, you'll be free to go. If you have a lawyer, because you have a lawyer, I will waive your appearance. You don't have to waste your time coming to court, but you must stay in touch with him, and he'll tell you if and when you have to come back to court. If he tells me he can't get hold of you because you've gone AWOL, I will issue a warrant for your arrest. All right? We'll have you sign a receipt with Victoria. We'll have you take a seat in the juror box. We'll get your bond conditions. We'll have you sign, and then you'll be free to go. All right? Thank you, guys.
Right this way. All right, Judge, we have a Spanish arraignment.